Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Jane. I'm not sure if we're live yet, but I think so. Um, I think so. Thank you for joining us for this live event today. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Jane Viana. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant here with VisaPlace. And I'm here today to talk to you guys about the current situation, the current immigration situation, and what are the opportunities that are currently available right now. We know that the world is going through, some challenging times, and a lot of things are on hold right now. But Canada continues to welcome immigrants on a daily basis, I would say. So I want to let you guys know what's going on, what are the opportunities that we have right now, and especially for those who are in a better position to take advantage of those. So we're going to be talking about that. I want to share a couple of details regarding entry to Canada. Although we do have travel bans in place right now, individuals are still able to enter. So we're going to talk about the exemptions. And of course, if there are any questions that you guys would like to ask, please feel free to do so. You can just leave a comment below. I do have some questions that our viewers left from my previous announcement videos. So I'm going to go over those as well. But if you have anything that you like to discuss, please feel free to leave it below. Okay, so let's talk about what current immigration opportunities are available right now and who are those who can take advantage of it, right? So, as probably some of you already know, Canada is not inviting right now skilled workers from, and most of the questions that I've got is from, skilled workers candidates. So Canada is not inviting skilled workers from outside Canada right now. So that brings a huge opportunity and gives a huge advantage for those skilled workers who are in Canada on temporary visas and perhaps working towards their immigration applications. So basically, for those who are eligible or will be eligible soon for the Canadian Experience class, this is the best time for you to join the pool of candidates, right? So CRS is decreasing significantly. So the past few draws, we saw a significant decrease in terms of points, which is great for those who perhaps were eligible, meaning they have at least 1 year of Canadian work experience and they're ready to join the pool of candidates, but for whatever reason, their CRS was not as competitive. So yes, right now, be ready, join the pool of candidates. CRS is going down a lot. So I'm talking about 20 points from within, a couple of weeks. So yes, right now it's a good time for those to join the pool of candidates. Even if you're not, let's say, ready yet in terms of work experience, you still have a month or two to accumulate in order to get to do the 12 months. It's not too, it's never too early to start preparing and gathering the paperwork and getting everything in place. So if you're in Canada and you would be or you are indeed already eligible for Canadian Experience class, right now is the best time to join the pool. And I'll even go as far as saying, this is happening right now. We're experiencing this now because of the current situation, but we don't know until when this will go on, right? So if you wait up a couple of weeks, I would say it might be that CRS would go back to the standard 470 or why not, right? So I mean, you have to act fast. Our firm is extremely busy right now, just getting our leads and our clients into the pool of candidates in order to take advantage of this decrease in terms of CRS. So I advise you all to do the same. And if you're not sure if you're eligible yet, or if you're not sure if you're ready to join the pool, reach out to us. We'll do a personalized assessment on your case and let you know what's the best course of action. Now, this brings me to my next point. As I said, Canada is right now not inviting candidates for skilled worker immigration from outside Canada, but that's not going to go on forever, right? So eventually, Canada immigration will catch up, and you better be sure that a lot of people would be invited. So we'll expect to see the CRS going up quite a lot. So another good reason for those who are in Canada to join it now. Don't wait, because then it will become a lot more competitive once everybody from abroad joins in. And if this is too technical for you, don't worry, come talk to us, and then we're going to look at your specific situation, right? Because Express Entry will take care of people in Canada and also people outside Canada. That being said, I have a couple of questions regarding the Canadian Experience Class eligibility that a couple of people have asked me, so I'm going to go over them with you right now before we move to my next topic. A lot of people are asking if they have been temporarily off work because of the whole quarantine situation that we're facing right now. So if you're not working, meaning if you've been laid off for a specific amount of time, you cannot use those months or those weeks towards your Canadian experience, right? Towards Canadian experience class. So no. So basically, if you have the option to continue to work but with reduced hours, that's going to be a much better option for you because this way you can continue to accumulate work experience towards that program. So if you have the option to either go on employment insurance or continue to work on lower or fewer hours, certainly continue to work, especially if you're working towards accumulating that 12 months. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I have for skilled worker immigrations. We also have PNPs that have been provincial nominations that have been invited candidates, but in a much lower or smaller scale. We don't know when that would happen again, a list for Ontario, which is where we are located. But provinces are still selecting candidates, they're still issuing invitations. So if you qualify for any provincial nomination program and you were physically present in Canada, it's a good time to act as well. Basically, for everyone in Canada, this is a good time to look at immigration, right? Because no one is entering. If you're already here, you have that advantage. And talking about being already in Canada, then let's talk a little bit about post-graduation work permits because a lot of our viewers and a lot of our clients are here in Canada right now, either on student status or worker status. So basically, if you're on a post-grad work permit, you should be already working towards your Canadian experience class, right? So if you're not sure, again, come talk to us. But if you have a post-grad work permit, but you're not yet ready to join the pool of candidates, you need to extend your stay. Right? So everyone in Canada, really, we know that a lot of people got caught up in a situation where they can't leave because there's no flights and they're advised to stay in quarantine, but they still have to maintain their temporary visas, right? So Canadian immigration has not changed, right? You still have to follow same procedures, same rules apply. So it's very, very important that everyone in Canada on a temporary visa renew their visas. Right? So if you're here on a work or study visa, you may or may not be able to renew your status as a worker or as a student. But regardless of that, you have to renew your temporary status, even if it's as a visitor. Same apply for those who are here on visitor status. Do renew your status. Don't go out of status because that would create complications. Don't overstay your visa, basically. That would create complications that you don't need to. So even though the government may take a little longer to get back to you with the response for the extension, you will be doing the right thing by applying, right? Even though you don't know when you're going to hear back from them. So do apply. Don't go over status. If you're not sure if you're eligible for an extension of a work permit or study permit or to go to a visitor status, come talk to us and we'll let you know what's the best course of action for your particular case. Okay. Now, that being said, for those, another important detail here is that for those who this whole COVID-19 situation really caught us, unprepared, let's say. So if you had a plan to come into Canada as a student now in September for the September intake, and you have already a study permit that have been approved, and you have a letter of acceptance for September, you'll still be able to enter the country even though we have a travel ban in place. So if you have a valid study permit, even though you haven't started school yet, you'll be able to enter. Same for those on work visas. If you have a work visa for Canada, you should be able to enter the country. Okay. If you're coming in for tourism or other visiting purposes, then perhaps not the best time. Wait a little bit. We are expecting to see some updates on the travel bans shortly I want to say next month, in a month or so. But stay tuned. We'll certainly let you know when that happens. But for those planning on starting a school in September this year and they already have a visa, they want to come in early and get settled and all that, you can still do that. Okay. Another important detail that I want to share with you guys for those on post-graduation work permits or those changing from students to post-grad work permit. If you had to change to online learning because of quarantine, that would not affect your eligibility for post-grad work permit. Okay, I had so many clients ask me this question. So Yes, many schools had to adjust and go from the on-ground classroom format to online. So if that happened to you, don't worry. You'll still be able to get your postgrad work permit even if you graduated or did a whole complete full semester online. Okay, and I say this because this is not a usual criteria for postgrad work permit, right? Usually you are required to attend classes in person. So online learning is not eligible, but due to the present situation, it will be considered this time around. So this is an assumption, not a rule. I'm not saying that postgrad work permit program has changed. It's just as of right now, they are accepting that as a valid form of completing your studies. Okay. Um, for those looking to do flag polling or any applications, which is very common for US citizens or individuals in the US or even people in Canada, go to the border, do the flag pulling, get their visas, and come back. They're not doing that right now, so don't take a risk. Don't go to the border. Landing applications or landing process have also been paused, so we're not doing any landings right now. But don't worry, if you already have received a confirmation of PR, have already applied and being approved, just wait until your landing. It's everything on hold right now, but they will come back to being taking place very shortly. So don't worry, they're not going to expire, and it's fine. Another important detail as well for those applying for visa extension or even for immigration applications, if for whatever reason you're not able to do your medicals or your police certification clearances or any other biometrics as an example, you might still be able to submit your applications even though you might be missing a couple of documents because things are on hold right now. So it's important to know when and how that works and how to address properly within the application to avoid any confusion on immigration processing side. But yeah, so a few exceptions in place in order to facilitate those who have to apply, renew their visas, get their PRs, and are unable to complete the full application because of the quarantine situation. Okay, let me see what I have for you guys today with regards to skilled workers. Okay, so as of now, this is what I wanted to share with you guys with regards to skilled worker immigration. Basically, to sum up, if you're in Canada right now, if you're working in Canada, or if you're on a work permit in Canada, it's the best time for you. This is a unique opportunity. CRS score is going as low as 450 right now. So this is 455. This is a wonderful opportunity for those who are in Canada and perhaps are not very competitive under the system, had lower scores, but are eligible under the Canadian Experience class. This is going to be a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So don't wait out. Don't, blink in the blink of an eye, this can go back to normal and this great opportunity will be missed. So make sure to reach out to us right now. And if you're watching this video, you'll be eligible for a 50% discount code on your consultation. So if you just want to have a consultation to see what's the situation right now, what can be done, what is applicable to you or not, make sure to let us know that you've watched this video and we can get a 50% off of your consult. Okay. Now, the next comment I want to do before I go to the questions is with respect to family class. So we do have a lot of people in Canada that are in relationships with Canadian citizens or PRs, and perhaps they're not ready or not able to apply right now for immigration as a skilled worker. They are failing to realize that they may be eligible under the family class. So basically, if you're married to a Canadian or a PR in Canada, or if you have been cohabitating with your partner, meaning if you have been living together for a minimum of 12 months, you may already be eligible to be sponsored as a common law partner. So that's wonderful. Family class applications are not on hold. They are still being processed. So if you're in Canada and you meet the eligibility, so either married with a Canadian or PR or a common law partner, meaning you have cohabitated for 12 months, you may very well be eligible to apply for PR under that category. Right? So perhaps you're on a visa and your visa is expiring and you're not sure how to proceed. Canadian Experience class is not the one for you just yet. Perhaps you want to consider family class applications. Okay, just want to put that reminder out there because I've came across a lot of situations where this was the case, right? So with regards to another very common question that I've been getting lately, if you're a Canadian citizen and you're abroad and you're looking to return to Canada and bring your foreign national spouse, so your spouse that's not a Canadian citizen or not a PR yet. So if you are a Canadian abroad, if you're living in the US, or if you're living anywhere else and you want to return to Canada because, work situation has changed, or you want to be with your family in Canada, whatever it is, and you want to bring your spouse with you, he can enter. Even though your spouse may not have a Canadian visa yet, may not be a PR yet, he would be able to get a entry visa if required, and he can still apply for immigration under the family class. Okay, so for Canadians out there looking to return home and bring their foreign spouse, don't worry, this is certainly something that we can assist you with. Okay. um, Okay, now one quick thing that I perhaps forgot to mention when we talked about skilled workers or people that are in Canada on temporary visas. If you are here on a temporary visa and you already overstayed your visa, meaning you're already out of status, you already overstayed, you might still be able to fix that. So there's something called restoration of status. If you, for whatever reason, forgot, missed the deadline, or didn't know what to do, and overstay your visa for a couple of days, it's not the end of the world. We might still be able to fix that. So if you want to know if you're eligible for restoration or not, come talk to us, and we'll let you know. Okay. Um, okay. And I think that's it. Let's go over the questions now. So I've gotten a couple of questions from you here, and let me see. So immigration fees are increasing. Yes, that is correct. So we're gonna have an increase in fees. It's coming up soon. It's coming up shortly. So if you want to avoid pay the higher fees, it's best to be ready to apply within the next couple of weeks. So yes, immigration fees are increasing. That is correct. Are the CAS score for expressive going up or down? So as I said in the beginning of the presentation, it is going down, but is restricted or is exclusive for candidates that are applying under the Canadian Experience class. So even if you're in Canada, physically present in Canada, but you're not eligible under the Canadian Experience class, you'll still not get an invitation under the current draws, right? So Canada is only inviting, as of now, the last couple of draws, only candidates under the Canadian Experience class. As I said, we don't know until when this will be the case, but it's the case as of right now. That it's like a double sword here. It's great for those in Canada that are eligible because the CRS is going significantly lower. But for those in Canada, for those outside Canada, they're not able to apply just yet. Hold on tight. Things will go back to normal, and then a lot of people will be joining the pool at the same time. So you want to be ready and have your paperwork in place when that happens, because you don't want to wait much longer. I do not have a study permit yet, but I'm planning to start the process for September intake. Is now a good time to start the process? For September intake, it would highly depend if you're able to get enrolled on an education institution, right? I do believe that by September, the travel bans would not be still in place, so students should be able to come in. If you already have a study permit, it means you can enter the country right now. You can still apply for a study permit right now. So yes, to answer in short, yes, you can still apply. But we are very hopeful that by September or August, September, the travel bans will already be lifted and people will be able to come in normally. So you can apply, you can even be accepted and granted a study permit, but you might have to wait a little before actually coming into the country. Okay? Any study permit that have been granted before March 18 will still be able to enter. Anyone after that would have to wait for the travel bans to lift. But again, September is still some time. So I think things will be a lot more normal by then. But I will go as far as saying if you're looking to start school in September, you should start getting your paperwork ready now, right? Even if you're going to be able to enter or not is something that we're going to see later on. The enrollment process, the visa process is something that does take time. So for those looking to start in September but haven't applied yet, then yes, let's get everything ready in place. And again, if September it's perhaps not feasible, there's always January intake that is not far from that, right? And some colleges would have even other intakes as well throughout the year. Hi, how about visitor visa? I already applied through your company for my son. So yes, the government's still accepting applications for visitor visas. However, as I said, right now it's not the best time to come in as a visitor, right? If you don't have a family member in Canada, and I'm going to talk about who can enter and who cannot in just a second. If you don't have a family member in Canada, meaning a parent, a spouse, a common law partner, or children, you won't be able to enter just for tourism or visiting purposes. Okay, this is very important right now because we do have a travel ban. However, if you wanted to be able to come into Canada sometime later this year, you can still apply for the visas. Okay. But yeah, again, just to review, if you have a family member in Canada, and that's not only the case for Canadian citizens and PRs, even if your family member is in Canada as a foreign worker or as a international student, you still might be able to come in to reunite with them. All right, so Canada takes the principle of family reunification very seriously. So if you have a family member that is in Canada, if it's a Canadian citizen or a PR, very straightforward. If your family member is in Canada as a worker or as a student, you may still be able to join them, but it would require additional documentation. Okay, not impossible, but a little bit more bureaucratic. Yeah. Next question would be, my CRS right now, it's 409. My NOC is this and this as a software engineer. Which would be the best PNP I can try for? It would depend on the province that you're in, right? Most provincial endorsements or provincial nomination programs, they are employment based, most of them. That's the whole point of a provincial nomination, right? It's for the province to be able to nominate candidates that can contribute to the economy of that particular province. So most PNPs right now are employment based. There are a couple exceptions to that rule. So there's a couple PNPs that are linked to study programs, and why not? Some that are linked, like in Ontario, you have the Francophone, which is mostly based on your ability to speak French. So again, for French speakers, always good to consider immigration to Canada, because Canada really values bilingualism. So to answer your question, sorry, I don't have a very specific answer for you. It depends on the province that you are, but most PNPs, they are employment related. Is it possible to immigrate to Canada without IELTS? Unfortunately, as a skilled worker, the answer will be very unlikely. There are certain PNPs that would not require language exam. So if you're immigrating through a provincial nomination program that is paper-based, so meaning there is outside express entry, and you have a job offer, then you might not need IELTS, but you need to have a job offer. But for the most part, IELTS is required, especially if you're applying through express entry. Then there's no way that you can escape IELTS, right? And for those coming in as a student, IELTS is usually required as well. But for those applying through family class, then language is not a factor. So if you have a family member in Canada, then IELTS shouldn't be a problem to you. Or it shouldn't be a problem to anyone. It's just a matter of, getting familiar with the exam and waiting for it to reopen, then taking it and going back to your immigration program. I am on a postgrad work permit. Due to coronavirus, I cannot work. I worked about 10 months up to now. It's less than a year. Can I apply for Canadian Skilled class? So the answer for that would be, unfortunately, no. You'd have to wait until you complete the 12 months of Canadian work experience. So you're 2 months apart. Right now you're, on a hold, but things would go back to normal, guys. This is temporary setback. Don't worry. As soon as you're able to return to work, in 2 months, you will be eligible. Okay? So fortunately, you do need 12 months. Even if you worked more than 30 hours, you cannot meet that eligibility criteria with less than 12 months. You need to work for at least a year, right? Next question would be, I have PR in Canada. I want to bring my brother here. How can I do that? So there is no direct sponsorship program that extends to brothers or to siblings, but you can support his application in several ways. First of all, having a sibling in Canada as a PR or as a citizen would grant that candidates additional points for the express entry system, right? Which is great. You get additional points just for having a sibling in Canada. If perhaps your brother wants to come in as a student, having someone in Canada to host them or to support them financially while they're going to school is another great way you can support him. So there are several ways you can contribute to his immigration process, but there's no sponsorship available directly for siblings. Okay. And I think that will be it for now. So thank you guys for joining. It is great to see you, and thanks for the questions. I hope this was helpful. If you want to talk about different topics, or if there's any particular type of program that you want to discuss, do let me know, and I'll plan something for us for our next meeting. So I wish you all a good rest of the day, and stay safe and keep positive. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.